What's up, everybody? Just got done watching The Fate of the Furious. I think I said it wrong earlier when I said it was The Fate of the Furious. And honestly, I liked it and everything. I mean, yeah, it did have its problems, but I did like it. What do you think?
I enjoyed it a lot. The thing is, there are problems with this movie, and for those of you that assume it'll be the last, it won't be. Whether you saw this movie or not before or saw the preview, you knew it was going to be another movie because there's too much money behind it.
Well, it's like I told you. I think it might not be the last, but it's like I told you, the way I think it'll play out, it'll probably be the last time we maybe see like Dom and Ludacris and Tyrese and stuff. I think it's going to branch off
and
into.
Letty. Yeah.
I think it's going to branch off into probably the last time we see The Rock too. I think he's probably done after this one. I think it's going to branch off into probably one final movie to wrap everything up with. I'm not going to give really any spoilers and everything. With everybody knows Jason Statham's in the movie, and there's also another returning cast member. I think he's going to branch off into something like that, which honestly I wouldn't mind.
You don't have to give spoilers, but I'm going to give spoilers on my page, so. If
Well,
this
you
can look up here. We got ours. Here's the thing about that. The story is it's exactly what you expect. It's Fast and Furious with cars and then espionage stuff happening. If you've seen the preview or the trailer, you know that Dom turns his back on everybody. I'm not gonna tell you why or how, because that's for a different thing, but it brings everybody that should be come back. I will give one spoiler. There's no Paul Walker in this movie, so thank goodness for
Well,
that.
that's a good thing. It's like I was worried that they would try to do the computer generated thing, and it was nice. It was good that they had to do that for the last movie, the little beach scene. I understand they had to do that, and the car scene with him and Dom and everything. That was the only thing I did not like about the movie. It's like I told you, because I like the Fast and Furious movies, but I've always considered those movies linked. Those being Dom and Paul Walker's character Brian, that was their franchise and everything, and it's just not the same when you don't have those two characters in the movie. It's like I was telling you with Fast and Furious 2. Brian was there, but Dom wasn't there, and they introduced Tyrese's character, and it just didn't feel the same and everything. And I never watched Tokyo Drift. That was the only one I still haven't watched.
Well, see, that's the way I feel about the second one. I thought was really well. I mean, Paul Walker, he's a decent actor, so it didn't.
But they was just so good as a buddy.
They're good as a buddy, but it didn't lose anything for me. It not being Dom not being there. And then the third one you've not seen, but I have. But at the end, which is no spoiler at this point, everybody knows it. Dom appears, which they played up in the fourth or fifth movie. They show a scene that has to do with Tokyo Drift, but they're trying to blend them together, and that's where I think that it should have been. I don't know. This series is fun and enjoyable, but it's not. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's not the one that we grew up with. We started with the first one, second one. You saw it's about cars. And Brian was a cop, so you could actually go into the espionage thing. But now that he's gone, it really just becomes Ocean's 11 brawl, because it's a group of people that are friends and family that know each other well, that battle out. The difference between this and Ocean's 11, though, as I will say, is Ocean's 11 is more of the smart way of figuring things out, whereas this one,
this series is more. Got that with Ludacris.
With this series, they beat the shit out of the bad guys. So I mean, they're not trying to find ways to not be caught. They're like, fuck it, we're here, let's kick ass.
Well, like I said, we'll continue discussions more on yours. But as far as mine goes, it's like, would I recommend watching this if you're a fan of the Fast and Furious movies? Yes, I would definitely recommend it. Definitely check it out. Honestly, don't pay the IMAX price. I think just go watch the regular. I'm not a big fan of the IMAX, and
I will say this about.
I only think this wasn't in 3D, was it?
It wasn't in 3D, but IMAX. The thing about IMAX, I will say though, is it does have better sound. Like I did feel like I missed that more epic sound to the movie, but as for visually, no, you don't need an IMAX. There's no point.
But overall, comparing this one to the last one and the previous ones, as far as my rating anyway, I would probably give it, compared to the last one, I would give this one probably I'd probably give it probably 3.5 out of 5. I like the last one a little bit better. I think it was a little bit more fun. This one did have some fun moments in it, but the last one, it had all of them there, and tragically, we lost Paul Walker, of course, but it was just, it seemed like a lot more fun and everything, but this one did have its moments, so I say 3.5. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I give it a 3.5, maybe even a 4. It was enjoyable, but I'm a big fan of the series, so if you're a huge fan of the series, I think it's worth.
Oh yeah, you're gonna like it. If you like the series, you're gonna love it. I mean, I'm not hating on it or nothing.
But if you're not a fan, if you're a fan of just that type of action movie, you're gonna enjoy it. But if you're a fan of some kind of story, real serious story, it's gonna kind of hit and miss here and there.
But your average consumer, I don't think they're going to get any new fans with this.
True, being the eighth one.
Yeah.
The Fate and the Furious.
But all in all, I did enjoy it. I think he did enjoy it. We're going to talk some more on his and everything because, like I said,
if you want spoilers, go to my page. His is spoiler free.
Yeah, I don't like giving out spoilers, but either way, I'll talk to you later on mine, and I'll see you on his.
Thank you, people. Now, coming up here on mine, it's just my one thing that really bothered me in this movie, and it's nothing to do with the movie itself. It's just the series as a whole, and that's the fact that we discussed it already. Everybody seems to be different from when they started. Ludacris started out as a guy that knew about cars that ran a chop shop. How that transfers to him becoming a fucking computer expert, knowing everything about the government needs and this and that, and if it's a firewall, he knows everything about it. I don't understand. They brought a girl character in as a hacker. She was in the last one, wasn't she? Well, she was saved in the last one. The last one's where they brought her in, which I'm okay with that. But if she's a hacker, they don't need Ludacris to be a hacker. It's just, it made no sense in putting them together. And you got
well, she was the smart.
Well, you got Tyrese in the second one was the hard badass, fighter. He was the brawn of the group because Dom was gone, and that's fine and dandy. But then through these last few movies, he's been complete comic relief. Like, thank God in this movie they give him a scene where he does look badass, but it's literally a 10-second scene in a 2.5-hour movie
But it was a good scene though.
Well, he was funny in it, but in this he doesn't seem as funny as he did the last ones. Like, him and Ludacris try to play off each other, but it just it gets trampled with the action here. And again, I'm hopping on this every damn movie I see, but I'm so sick of seeing shaky action. In that, most of the movie wasn't too bad, but in the prison scene where Shaw and Jason Statham and The Rock meet up, that was like, oh my God, just let me see him punch somebody. Don't do this when he's punching somebody. And that drove me nuts.
And apparently The Rock is really tough to be able to stand up to a rubber bullet and everything. Whew.
Yeah, he gets shot like 4 times with a rubber bullet. And I'm sorry, I don't care how strong you are, that would have to suck. And but Jason Statham, I will say this, Jason Statham and The Rock together, they're banter.
I can see future movies.
Oh my God, that would be such. Them two as a buddy cop movie would be so great. Like,
it kind of makes me wish that Jason Statham was in Baywatch coming up. I think that would have been hilarious.
Oh, that'd have been hilarious. But Jason Statham and him though just had this great chemistry. As all y'all know that watches my videos, I love Jason Statham. He's my favorite male actor. But they were playing off each other so well, and I hate to say it, but they brought the Lethal Weapon TV show. This would have been a great Lethal Weapon movie with them two. I never
watched that TV show.
Well, I didn't watch the TV show either, but I'm saying if they remade the Lethal Weapon movies, these two would be a good little thing. You got the hard cop.
It would be better. And who they get? Damon Wayans and some other guy.
I don't have a clue. I never watched the show. Sorry, Lethal Weapon show. I'll give you a chance one day maybe, but
it's like anything would have been better than those two.
I don't even know if it's still going.
No, I don't think it is. I think it went one season. So.
And other things I had problems with this movie, which like you probably doesn't mind as much, but I do. But I like that it went back to using the cars. But
you did see a lot more cars in this one.
You see a lot more cars than you
Well, actually, you saw a lot more cars in the last one too. I mean, there was more.
But they were going to Saudi Arabia.
I mean, they drove a car
through the
off
desert.
One building to another. I mean, that was an awesome scene. I love that. Of course, you get a cool scene with this one with well, not really a spoiler, but
Well, it doesn't matter,
when
mine's
she's
spoiler.
like,
Mine's full of spoilers.
when Charlize Theron's character is like, make it rain and everything, and you just see all these cars just come backing out of the back of this parking garage.
Which I said to you, and you heard me. It
was awesome.
Bothered me because how many of those cars could we have drove?
That was
How many
so
cars?
awesome.
Fuck you, Hollywood, for killing every freaking love I have for cars.
I guarantee you that's where all the budget went for this movie, was just on the vehicles.
There's so much to do with cars and self-driving cars, and self-driving cars in this, for anybody that has one, can be hacked. So I want you to think about that about 20 years from now when your car is moving because you don't have a choice. It's going to be because these hackers created an algorithm to make your car go without you. Fuck self-driving cars. Get back to the movie though. Jason Statham.
And you can't forget about the bright orange. Of course, it was in the trailer. The bright orange neon Lamborghini that Tyrese was driving.
Which, okay, the trailer has Tyrese's funniest moments. Right there is your funny moments.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And it's when you look back at the movie, it's like I can't really think of anything other than the trailer scenes that were funny with him. Although I will say this about the movie, they cracked me up with how many, like, you know how you Slick, Gunner give you nicknames and stuff. There are so many little quip nicknames in this that just crack me the fuck up.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, you know, Slick. They don't have Brian in this movie, but they try to bring in Scott Eastwood. Is that his name?
Eastwood.
Scott Eastwood as a cop.
Wasn't he was in the third one, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't in any of them. This is his first time in the movie. In his, he was
I
brought
thought,
in.
wait, who was the guy? That
He was brought in by Mr. Nobody, aka Kurt Russell,
who was awesome, by the way. Kurt Russell's
Kurt
awesome.
Russell's awesome. Kurt Russell, but he was great as Return of Mr. Nobody. But he brings in a subordinate, which is this guy as a cop. So they're trying to replace Brian the cop with this guy as a cop, and he's, you know, hard ass suit wearing thing for about 20 minutes in the movie. And they make so many jokes at him and crack up, and he basically becomes the ass end of every joke. And it's like, I felt bad for Scott Eastwood at first, but then in the movie they really at one point just kind of like, he busts the thing and say, no, there are no rules, and it just switches. They try to turn him into Brian, into like the cop character that was still lovable and friendly, which I thought the character was okay, but
he could do okay, but I don't think he's got the personality
that Paul Walker had, the lovable. Yeah, I agree, but that's what they tried to turn him into, was Paul Walker. That turns out in this movie, Charlize Theron, how she gets, which I'm spoiler on mine, so if you hadn't already known, you already gonna hear it. Charlize Theron steals Dom's child, who
he kidnaps Elena. They bring her
Elena
back,
and it turns out Dom has a child.
We find out that they had a
But
child.
I'm sorry, at first I was like, who the hell's Elena?
Yeah,
I didn't remember her as the cop, and that's there's a lot of cameos in this. It's like, I don't remember that character. I vaguely remember. I mean, she was the cop. She was the whatever cop before Letty.
Yeah, when Dom thought Letty was dead.
But that's with her. If you hadn't watched the movies recently, you would be like, what? And
it's like we said on mine though. This is not going to bring in any new fans or anything.
I'm a fan, and I haven't watched that movie in 5 years or 4 years, and it's like, or maybe,
well, we're not the hardcore. We're not the hardcore fans like a lot.
Well, true, but no, I don't think a lot of people would watch it. They're not going to watch all 7 just to see 8 again.
That's true.
But it's like, I remembered her, but I was just like, they were together. But she has a child who's Dom's child, and she says in it, I gave him a middle name, call him Marcos, I think it was. Marcos. It was something like that, and they gave him a middle name, and he said, I'll let his father name, as she's looking at Dom and says it to him, the father gave the first name, so obviously, I'm not, rip Paul Walker, but I'm sorry, we all know his name was going to be fucking Brian, and that's what it was at the end. His name's Brian.
Yeah. It was a good little moment. That was the moment.
Here's the thing about that. With the series being Brian and his sister and Dom's sister still being alive in the series itself, they're just not involved anymore. They should have named him, I think, Paul. I think they should have gave him the name Paul, and just kind of, where Brian is alive, so there's no point naming him Brian. In the movie, they're just doing it because that character is gone.
It's like we don't know. It's like maybe in the movie, maybe Brian named he had a kid too. Maybe he named his kid Dom.
I can't remember if we got a name of the kid or not. But I mean, the end was a decent send-off. Going back, Jason Statham dies halfway through the movie, and I told him, I was like, shit, but I know he's
knew
not
him.
dead, because there ain't no way Jason Statham was signed on to play 15 minutes, 20 minutes of a movie, even if his parts were great in it. He comes back and it's hilarious because his whole point of the final act is to save Dom's child, who's in an airplane with the villain. And, you know, of course, any airplane you're going to have people fighting through. Well, he gets the kid, puts some headphones on the kid, saying,
great scene, by
great
the way.
scene.
Great
He
scene.
puts on was it Chipmunks? Yeah, Chipmunks song on the kid, and proceeds to fight with the kid in his arm, the cradle, whatever, not cradle, what's it called?
Little
Bassinet thing.
baby carrier.
Yeah, baby carrier, and just, it's like he said, it's a great scene. He plays off the kid, plays it with the action, plays off the kid, plays it. Which Jason Statham at his best. Jason Statham, you see now, you never understood why I love Jason Statham.
I never said he was a bad actor.
No, but you never understood my love for him. Do you see it now? He can play cheesy and actiony all so well together. It's just, that's the ways I love the Transporter movies, because he's playing off both, and he was great throughout the movie. They bring back his brother, they bring in his mom, and him and Dom have this great little thing about talking about family, and he's like, you had to go to my mother? Which is...
By the way, you was asking me, it's like, you couldn't remember the actor's name that played his brother. That was Luke Evans.
Luke Evans, okay, Luke Evans.
If you remember, he played Bard in The Hobbit, and he was also in Dracula Untold.
Yeah, okay. Well, he comes...
He's a great actor.
They bring Shaw back. They bring Jason Statham's brother. Yeah, he's Shaw. Owen Shaw. Okay.
Yeah, Owen Shaw.
They bring Owen back, which I was with Mark on this. I thought they killed him. I didn't know he was in jail.
I thought he was
and in this movie, he's in jail, and well, they bring him back. So it's the original actor come back, so that's kind of cool. So they're bringing everybody that was kind of cameoed before back in to a point.
It's like I was talking earlier. I could see the franchise switching to those two brothers and telling their story.
Yeah, I think you have a good idea. Tell them, you know.
Well, it's like, I told it earlier. I mean, it's like, you know.
You didn't say it earlier.
Yeah, we didn't stop recording on yours, and and I was talking about that, how they could branch it off. It's like,
well, no, but you didn't give your idea.
I thought I did.
No, you didn't.
I might not have. But either way, it's like I said, it's like branch it off. You know, take the two Shaw brothers.
Oh well, wait.
Branch them off.
The Shaw brothers are fighting Charlize Theron, who's the villain in this movie. She gets away out of the plane
she gets away and everything. And you know, if they do make another, make a final one. Because it's like I said, it's like I think we could be done with like the a final one with like the Dom, Letty, Rock's character, and you know they could possibly bring, like you was talking about, bring the Ludacris and the other. What is her name?
Oh, I can't remember the girl's name. The hacker girl.
I can't remember now.
Which she makes a joke in it saying, y'all love both Tyrese and Ludacris are like. We both want to be with you, and she goes, well, tell me my last name, and neither one knows it, and so she plays that off pretty well. But
if we don't get another Fast and Furious movie with the Dom character, which I don't think we will, just because I don't know if Vin Diesel would do it or not. I can see them do it.
Vin will do it.
You know, they did Tokyo Drift and everything. I can see them doing another one all like that, except using like the Owen's brother, Owen and his brother.
His idea was Charlize Theron got away, so obviously there's going to be another one. But the next one could be, since she's the one that pretty much cost Owen Shaw into, like, he was part of her group.
Yeah.
And then
he wound up in prison.
He wound up in prison, so she pretty much treated him like, you know, like she turned everything on him and tried to get Shaw, Devin, what was it again? Decker Shaw to join, which is Jason Statham's character, to join her, and he wouldn't, and that's why he ended up where he was. You know, that's why he was fighting Dom and all that, because she set it up. Well, it could be definitely a good movie to have them two, the Shaw brothers, go after Charlize Theron, which I thought would be really enjoyable as well. And yeah, like Mark said, you know, you could make a whole movie out of that, and then play up to maybe bringing in Ludacris as or the girl, either one or both, as the computer when they do computer works.
New characters.
Yeah, or create a new series with them.
Mm-hmm.
But that'd be if Jason Statham would be willing to sign on for a few movies.
Would I think it would be like a whole new series? No, I think it'd just be a one and done movie and everything.
It should be. But could they bring into a series? Yeah, they could, but why? People are going to get burnt out like they are with other stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And honestly, it's like the other thing I'm actually hoping comes out of this is like I know you probably saw all this stuff that happened on the set and everything, all the frustration between Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel and everything. It's like, could we be setting up for a WrestleMania match between these two? That's what I'm hoping for.
I don't see it happening. I'll tell you why I don't see it happening. Because Vin Diesel and Rock, they'll get along okay. And, you know, Rock kind of backpedaled, I guess, for the movie itself, you know, during the press conferences and stuff. But I don't think Vin Diesel will do it simply because Vin Diesel is an actor. They called him a diva. I don't know if he's diva or not. That he's an actor. He's not like, I hate to say it, but he's not like Stephen Amell. He's not. He doesn't have the want to get in a ring and put it on a show.
No.
He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the spot. And so, would it be a good idea? Yeah, it'd make bang for WWE, but it'll never happen because I don't think Vin Diesel will be like, I'm all for it.
But I don't know though. It's like I was saying earlier and stuff. It's like, it was a good movie. I mean, if you're a fan of the series, if you like these characters and everything, it's like you'll like this movie and stuff. It's like, it's like I said, it's like I do miss seeing Paul Walker's character there just because I like the dynamic between him and Dom. And I think going back to what you were saying, you know, you were saying how Tyrese's character, you know, it seemed like he wasn't hitting on everything and everything, but I think he played off really. Paul Walker played off well with everybody on the cast. You know, him and Dom, they had their little dynamic. Him and Ludacris, Tyrese, you know, they all. He was really the glue that held this whole franchise together and everything.
I agree, and I'll tell you who else I miss. Han. I want Han back. I know they killed him in Tokyo Drift, and I know they killed him, you know, they kept to kill in, was it the 4th or 5th, whatever Shaw showed up. But damn it, I